All right, welcome back. So the October jobs report just been released moments ago. Economists predicted it would show slow growth, and it's all because of that strike at GM. Thousands and thousands of jobs. Joining us this morning to see how things really turned out and what those numbers actually look like is Managing Director and Chief Investment Officer at Rockland Trust, David B. Smith. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Melody.
Thanks so much for being with us. Give us the numbers right off the bat.
Yes, it was 128,000 jobs added in the month, which was much stronger than expected. It was
What was expected?
About 90,000.
So that is a far cry from what was expected.
Yeah.
Why the discrepancy here?
That's interesting. I think there's some questions about why it is there, so we'll get information as we get through the day here. But I think one of the things that people are suggesting is perhaps some of the people that were unemployed at GM, is about 45,000 folks, maybe got jobs in the gig economy. Maybe they were Uber drivers, maybe they were driving for Lyft or did some other thing that kept them active, so they weren't calculated in that data.
Is this kind of a false positive, though, that we're getting? Because all of a sudden, when you set the bar so low, right? When your expectations are so low, and then this number comes out, it seems amazing.
Yeah.
Is that a false positive?
It seems strong. I mean, I think ultimately what we're seeing is the jobs numbers are lower than this year than they were last year, and so the jobs market is absolutely slowing. Part of that is simply due to supply. There just aren't that many folks available to get back into the job market. So when you have many, many years of economic expansion, as we've had, it just becomes challenging to find individuals to come in and take the jobs that have the right qualifications to do the work.
It's interesting because we just had a story this morning, in fact, coming out of Maine, about how the restaurant worker shortage there is really impacting
Huge
businesses.
problem. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this GM strike, because many of our viewers and our listeners are saying, well, that doesn't impact me. But it's not just those GM workers on strike that are impacted by the GM strikes. There's a trickle-down effect.
Yeah, there's an estimated additional 30,000 individuals that probably lost their job due to the GM strike. So we think about people that were driving trucks for GM, people that were manufacturing food for the GM employees, probably lost additional jobs there. So that makes the number that we saw this morning even stronger when you factor in that those folks were probably displaced as a result of this.
Yeah, you can imagine the workers at the restaurants near the plants and near the factories that serve those guys on their lunch
lawyers,
breaks. Right.
All the people that support that.
Okay, let's talk about hourly earnings rate. We were talking about this during the break, and you said there's an interesting note here when it comes to how much we are earning per hour.
So average hourly earnings ticked up 3%, which is a strong number. Ultimately, what that means, when people are earning more, they have more to spend, and typically that trickles down through the economy in the form of inflation. So it reinforces, I think, why the Federal Reserve on Wednesday said after the rate cut that they made that they were on pause and looking for additional economic data before they made any sort of inclinations as to their next move. So we'll see what happens. 3% is a strong number on that. Again, we'll have to look through the details of what's in that number to find out exactly what drove that, but 3% as a headline is a good solid number, and perhaps will cause the Fed to pause for a longer period of time than people were expecting.
When you think about that number headed into the holiday shopping season, where people are really counting their dollars and trying to figure out what it looks like, what their personal budget looks like moving into the holiday season.
So the holiday season expectation is pretty strong because the consumer's looking pretty good. When you think about the entire economy, the consumer is the strongest component of our economy right now. So the expectation for holidays is good, and this number will likely make that number and that expectation go up.
All right, let's hope so. David B. Smith from Rockland Trust, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it. All right, Susan, we'll head back over to you.